Hi everyone, how are you doing? Today I am on time. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know where people disappeared to. I see Rose was here, Don Tatale was here. Yeah, so let us wait for any other person. I hope I'll be able to start in the next 4 or 5 minutes maximum. Because I do not want to keep the people who came here first waiting for a long time. Yeah. Please remember to introduce yourself. Hi, Vivian. How are you? I hope you're well. I don't know where usually people are. Mostly Sundays, people are not mostly here. And that is why yesterday I said what I'm talking about today so that at least people who are always looking for information to move to Australia can always tune in. Hi, Essie. You're welcome. Essie, I think it's your first time. We have never seen you here. Kenny, you're welcome. I don't think I've also seen you before. Ashaba Faith, hi. I also think you knew I've not seen you before. I've not seen you here before. Don Tatale, we are always you're an ardent follower, mostly on my live videos. From Ghana, I know it's not your first time. Mola, Gofe, what? Gofawon from Botswana. I think it's your first time here. I've not seen that name here. Hi, Conrad. I will talk to you once I'm done with this live. I still remember we have a conversation that is hanging or thereabout. Yes. So today I want us to talk about a new visa that just launched from in Australia. It is actually somewhere between 4 or 5 months old. And every time I come across a new visa, I always want to update you guys because I know new visas are very, very great pathways for people who are looking for opportunities and they are not very crowded. Silas from Tanzania, you're welcome. Limukani from Zimbabwe, you're welcome. Elizabeth Wainaina from Eldoret. Elizabeth, what are you doing in Eldoret? You're welcome. Ashahab from Mogadishu, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think we are a good number. We can start. Hi, Eric. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think we are a good number. 20 is a good number. We can start. Okay. Whatever I'm going to share today is a very consolidative information. It is a lot in terms of a live video. It is quite a lot. So I hope I will have enough time to cover everything. If you want, if you have any question that maybe I'll not be able to answer on the comment section, you can email me and I will send you out and I will share anything that you'd want shared. That is mostly in the case of some of the things that I'll be mentioning that maybe someone will miss or they will not be able to write down. I want what I'll be doing on today's video, I'll be explaining to you what this visa is about, what kind of skills are required for this visa. I will also be giving you what is needed in terms of you as an overseas worker or someone who is looking to move to Australia under this visa in terms of requirements and what kind also of employers. Definitely, you always know I want to give you names of employers, names of companies that you can go and look at your own free time, because mostly when these visas are out, it is most of the time to curb labor shortage. So you'll find that some of these industries or companies have been given licenses by the government to give you this kind of visas as someone who's looking to relocate. So Claire from Zimbabwe, you're welcome. Eric, you're welcome. Elizabeth, you're welcome. So let us start. So this Australian visa is the temporary skill work visa. It is under the 4482 visa, that is the employer nomination scheme visa to Australia. It is under because Australia has a lot of labor shortage visas, and labor shortage visas are called in Australia the temporary skilled work visas. When you of temporary, do not run away. These are visas that give at least 5 years work permits, or what are they called, or work visas. And definitely after, in a country like Australia, after 2 years, you always apply for your permanent residency, and you're allowed to get your permanent residency after 2 years. So the temporary work visa is mostly under the Australian government. That is the 482 visas given, or it was made and designed to curb labor shortage. So anytime the Australian government feels like there is some labor shortage in a specific industry, they will always add a subclass of visa under the 482. So the 482 visa is the general labor shortage visa. Then this specific visa is the visa subclass 186. It is subclass 186 of the 482 visa. Subclass 182 visa is the Australian health worker visa. Under the health worker visa, we are going to look at what kind of employers or employees they're looking at, or skills, because the health worker visa is quite broad. So the 186, sorry, subclass visa under 482 temporary skilled worker visa, that is a labor shortage visa in Australia, is looking for people, or looking for health workers. This is a visa that was introduced in July last year, and I'll be giving you a lot of details, because I feel like if you're looking to move to Australia right now, or anywhere in the world, as under anything around healthcare, this is a very good visa for you to consider. And that is because the requirements are not crazy like any other place that you will get. Okay, I will attach, and I will talk about my email address once I try to cover everything. So kindly be patient, so that we do not lose track of where I am, and to tell you what is needed. So the Australian, this visa was introduced last year in around June, July, and the Australian government, under the Australian government, what they say, under this visa, you are supposed to be paid 51,222 Australian dollars. And as I said, this is a health worker visa. So I know some of you are already asking what kind of health work jobs or healthcare jobs are available. For the 186 subclass visa, they are looking, or rather under this visa, they are looking for nursing support workers. When you have nursing support workers, these are not nursing professionals. These are people to help nurses with either administration, what are they called? Medicine administration, or maybe doing some support work to nurses. So you're not a full-time qualified nurse. You just help in some tasks that nurses will delegate you to do. So they are looking for nursing support workers. They are looking for personal care assistant, nursing support workers, and they're looking for aged care and disability care workers. So the visa is for three professions, or under the healthcare, there are three people who are being looked for: nursing support workers, personal care assistant, aged care, and disability care. Definitely, with all that, we are talking of healthcare assistant. When talked about aged carers and disability carers, you know that is caring or caregiving in general. When you're talking about personal care assistant, it is also healthcare assistant, caregiving, also nursing support workers. As I said, you're helping nurses in some of the tasks that they will delegate you to do. So what I want us to look at, and what I want to explain, is when the government launched this visa, they said that not every employer is mandated to give this visa. So the government said that an employer has to sign what is called a memorandum of association with the government for them to be able to bring foreign workers. So from July last year, when that visa was introduced, only two companies actually went and signed the memorandum of association. And once those two companies say that they're sponsoring, because this visa gives you sponsorships, and you can move with your family to Australia and your dependents. When those two companies say that they are now open for this visa to give immigrants and support workers, they were overwhelmed by the number of applications that they got. And then also now more companies realize that the first two companies are really benefiting a lot, and they are getting foreigners and immigrants from outside very easily. And the reason why most of the time you'll find that employers want to sign these contracts with the government is because they will pay overseas workers way less money compared to already someone who is in Australia. So what happened after that? A lot of companies now went back to the government and they say they want to sign the memorandum of association or the memorandum of understanding. So as of right now, there are 32 employers all over Australia that are giving visa sponsorship for you to move to Australia under the 186 subclass visa of 482 to Australia. They're giving you a visa sponsorship and they allow you to move with your family or rather your dependents. So I want us to look at the requirements of what is or rather what you need. And the first and the most important thing that you need under this visa, that is the only thing actually you need, is to do a skill assessment. Without you doing a skill assessment, you will not get any employer who is willing to give you a job offer. So even before looking for a job offer, you need to do a skill assessment. Or rather, while you're looking for jobs offer, the employer must and will always ask you to do a skill assessment. And this skill assessment, there are only two organizations in Australia that allow you to do the skill assessment. The skill assessment, you can do them from anywhere you are in the world, but you must register to do the skill assessment with these two bodies in Australia. I am going to write them down. I am going to mention them. Please screenshot so that this information, you can use it at your discretion the way you want it. So for the people who want to do who are around or are looking for jobs around nursing support workers, they're supposed to do their skill assessment under the ANMAC. That is the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. So what happens if you want to do skill assessment under these this industry or under these whatever the ANMAC, you have to go to their portal and give all the information they are looking for. And I'll also be sharing what is required in terms of skill assessment. So let me write for you the nursing support worker. So as I said, the nursing support worker, you have to register with the NAMAC for skill assessment. As I said, you cannot get any job and you cannot get a job offer without the skill assessment. The skill assessment is what approves if you're qualified for any job or not. So the best route to do or to take is first do your skill assessment. Then after your skill assessment, now send your CV to these companies that I'll be giving you after this. So the ANMAC is the Australian, let me write it for you. The Australian, guys, I'm going to answer all your questions once I'm done. I do not want to tackle them right now because I will get tied up and confused on where we left at. Midwifery Council. Yeah. So the ANMAC is the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. So this one is for anyone who is looking for jobs around nursing and healthcare assistant, or what in Australia they call personal care assistant. Remember, I said this visa is looking for 4 type of professionals. That is nursing support workers, aged carers and disability carers, and personal care assistant, or what we call healthcare assistant. So if you want to do your skill assessment under nursing support worker and personal care assistant or healthcare assistant, you have to do your skill assessment at the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation. If you want to do the support worker is now the aged carers and disability carers. You have to do your accreditation at the Community Association of Australia. Community Association of Australia. Those are the two bodies that are licensed by the government to do skill assessment under this visa to Australia. Okay, so Community Association of Australia will give you the skill assessment for support workers, that is the aged carers and disability carers. The Australian Nursing Council, Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council will give you skill assessment for people who are looking for personal carers, or what we call healthcare assistants, and the nursing support workers. Okay, I have shared the two bodies that you can do your skill assessment. What will you, or what are the requirements of the skill assessment? In When you're doing the skill assessment, this is what these two bodies will be requesting or wanting from you. They want at least certificate of whatever you say you're practicing. If you want to be a healthcare assistant, they want to see either if you have any certification or any certificate, or if you went to any school. If you want to do personal care, if you want to see to do the aged care and disability or the nursing support worker, they need to see some certification or certification to prove if you went to school. If you did not go to school, because I know there are people like, for example, healthcare assistant or caregivers, that is the aged carers, that have not gone to school but they have experience. They want to see the practical experience. Okay, for the practical experience, the skill assessment will ask you to give at least them a proof of you have been employed before. And in most cases, they want you to attach a bank statement or a pay slip to show that you are employed by a company that offers care assistant jobs or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they want you to show, if you do not have any certification, they want you to show them proof. And that proof, mostly they're asking for pay slips for you to show that you have been paid and you have worked for companies that give this kind of jobs, that is healthcare assistant, nursing support workers, and whatnot. Okay, and for experience, they at least need 1 year experience. So whether you have certification or whether it is the practical experience, you at least need to have 1 year experience. These are the requirements that the skill assessment will ask you. I want to warn people who will take this route, please do not give fake documentation, because this pathway is so strict. The Australian government is so strict that anytime, like under this pathway, for any person who give fake documents, because most of the time we are always thinking these countries are not doing research. And for example, in the case of when they ask you of paperwork and you give them I'm trying to look for the correct words. When they ask you, for example, if you never went to school and you have given your practical, like your bank statements or your pay slip to show that you have been employed. Let's say you are working as nurse support worker in hospital ABC, and you think that they will not counter check. These guys are going to do research and check. They will call in the country that you're saying you are in, that hospital, and they will look for records to show. That is how these associations and accreditation councils and the skill assessment work. So anytime you give them information, give them correct information, because they are going to do a background check on you. And the moment that they realize you are lying to them, you are going to get a 5 ban to Australia. And if you get a 5 ban to Australia, you can be sure countries like UK, USA, Canada do not want anything to do with you. It is very dangerous for you to get banned, or rather a country ban in either of these major countries, because most of the other countries are always sharing information in one way or another, mostly on people that are banned or people that overstayed their visas, and those are things that can really make you not get visas to other country. So if you know you do not have either practical experience of 1 year and you cannot account for it, please work your way towards it. It is not a must for you. I will be sharing with you, because this visa started, as I said, last year. And this visa, most of them, the companies have signed the memorandum of understanding up to 2028. So you have quite a long time. So if you do not have these kind of skills, that is, you have a certification of in healthcare, you have 1 year experience, or you have the practical experience where you can show like you have not gone to school but you have been working under or in these kind of skills, please work your way towards it. you can plan your relocation journey. It is not a must for you to plan something right now, work to it towards it right now, and go right now. If you know this is something you'd want to pursue, and you know some of the documents they're asking for in skill assessment, you do not have them, plan your way towards, look for somewhere that you can start, maybe have 1 year experience, then after 1 year start doing the skill assessment. And as I said, under this pathway you cannot skip the skill assessment, because that everything that I've mentioned under the skill assessment is the only thing they are asking for. They do not need any qualification. I know I am going to get the question on IELTS. So this is the catch with IELTS. The companies and the skill assessment is not going to ask you for your IELTS or your English proficiency. No. Your as I said, your requirements for the skill assessment is the certificate, 1 year experience, or the practical experience. And please do not give fake documentation in the practical experience. You do not need your IELTS. But this is the catch with IELTS in Australia. When you're going to register, when you get an employer who will give you your visa sponsorship and you get an offer letter, and remember with the offer letter and work permit, that is what you go to apply for your visa. Any Australian visa will always ask you to do or sit for your English proficiency test. Any. Australia is very well known for that. So the skill assessment is not going to ask you for your IELTS, but once you get a job and you're going to apply for your visa in the different embassies of the country you are, the Australian embassy is asking you, or will ask you to sit for your IELTS. And it is general IELTS, it is not UKVI, it is not what IELTS. They will be asking you to sit for general IELTS, and they require at least a score of between 4.5 to 5.5 or going upwards. So as long as you get 4.5 going upwards, you are safe. And trust you me, any country that is asking you, or any visa that is asking you to get a score of 4.5, it is not over demanding. That is a very low score in IELTS that can be achieved above across by anyone who comes from an English speaking country or whatever country, because English proficiency tests sometimes can be complex when they're asking for scores of 7, but 4.5 going to 5.5 is not very high. So for the skill assessment, you'll not need your IELTS, but once you get a job offer and you're applying for your visa, you'll need to sit for your general, and I'm saying general because there are different types of IELTS. You'll need your general IELTS and at least a score of 4.5. I want to share with you the companies that you can look for jobs. After, you can either choose to look for jobs before you do your skill assessment, and still when you're looking for jobs, most companies will tell you first do your skill assessment. That is why you heard me saying first do your skill assessment, then look for job, because even when you approach these companies and you've not done the skill assessment, they will still take you back to first start with skill assessment. I said there are 36 accredited companies. I'm going to share 10. Honestly, I cannot share the 36 of them with you. It will be quite a long time we will be here. I decided when I was planning for this content, I will share with you 10. When you Google these companies, I believe Google has like all the information that you need on these companies. If not so, I will maybe do another video separately and I can share the 36 employers. So in no particular order, I will be sharing with you mostly the expiry date of these countries, which is not very necessary because most of these companies, as I said, these visas, they are given between July of last year to 2028. It is just one company that I saw theirs is running up to 2029. So guys, you have a lot of time if you want to move to Australia under this visa. So the first company is the Bentlewood Pty Limited. At this juncture, I'll be writing them down, and then please take a screenshot if you want to, because I always feel like if when I expect most of you to time to type, we will be a bit slow. So I will be naming them and also writing them down. So we have Bentlewood, Bentlel Wood Pty Limited, Wood Bentlewood Pty Limited, they actually, theirs is running between started in 2023, it is expiring in 2028. We have Blue Cross Community Care, Blue Cross Community Care, Blue Cross Community Care. We have Australian Aged Care Group, Australian Aged Care Group, Australian Aged Care Group, Bentley Wood Pty Limited, Blue Cross Community Care, Australian Aged Care Group, Baptist Care. Let me write this one. Baptist Care, NSW and ACT. Yes, Baptist Care, NSW and ACT. It is like that. Baptist Care, NSW and ACT. Brian Aged Care Group, Brian Aged Care Limited, Brian Aged Care Limited. We have quite a number. As I said, there are 10. Carrington Sentinel Care Limited, Carrington some of these names are very hard to pronounce. Carrington Sentinel Care Limited, Coolman Shrine Council, Coolman Shrine Council. Please take a screenshot so that at least you'll have somewhere to reference. I will not, I don't think I will, for the care homes, if you're on the live and you come to ask me on my email, I don't think I'll share that, because honestly, I'll have to repeat these again. And I feel like I would have shared, it will not be fair for you to ask me to repeat this on an email. So Heritage, Cutting Heritage Living Inc. Okay. There's a Chuka. This one is so hard. This one I must. There's a Chuka Benevolent Society Incorporated. This one. There's a Chuka Benevolent Society Incorporated. Incorporated. Echuka Benevolent Society Incorporated. We have Home Care Helpers Pty. Home Care Helpers Pty Limited. Home Care Helpers Pty Limited. We have Link Care Pty Limited, and we are exactly at 10. Link Care Pty Limited. Those are already 10. Let me add one more. There is Moroba. It's just one name. This is not different. It's Moroba. So those are 11. I was to give 10. I've given 11. Those are out of the 36 accredited institutions to give these visa. The 186 subclass visa under 482, or rather 482 visa subclass 186 to Australia. Those are the employers that have signed the memorandum of understanding with, out of the 36, those are 11 to give those kind of visas. At that juncture, I believe I've covered everything from what the visa is about, what kind of workers they're looking for. I have given you what the requirements are from the skill assessment to the accreditation institutions, that are 2 accreditation institutions for different practices or different different careers or professions. And I've shared with you the 11 out of 36 employers that are mandated or that have signed the memorandum of association or understanding with the government to give this visa. At this juncture, if there's any question, I am welcome to answer it. Please do remember that these are not any, there's nothing to do with nanny jobs under this visa. This is a health care and health support. It is actually a healthcare support visa. Yes, to Australia. I think the only thing that I have not mentioned is that you require or under after 2 years of getting this visa to Australia, you can apply for your permanent residency, and actually in 2 years you will get your permanent residency, and you can change employers. So you are not tied to one employer. Remember, I said this visa pays an average salary of around 51,222 Australian dollars. After 2 years under this visa, you can change your employer after you get your permanent residency. Does volunteer work add up as work experience? The answer to this, as because I was reading a lot, it is mostly no, because if you're volunteering, there's no way you can show practically you are paid, because under skill assessment, sorry, I don't know why I'm running out of breath. I think it's because I've talked for 30 minutes non-stop. The reason why experience under this, because I researched this because I thought I would get this question. The reason why skill assessment does not counter anywhere with volunteer is because when you're doing the or when they're asking for the practical or technical experience, if you've not gone to school under the health, under the support worker visa or this route, is because they want you to show proof that you've worked for any company. And this proof is mainly they're going to ask for payslip or bank statements to show that you are getting a salary from a company that offers the same kind of services. The shame with that is that volunteer work does not pay you. It is free. So there is no way you will be able to show that part of you are working for these people, whether it was volunteer and they paid you or they did something, because it is very hard for someone to approach a company to ask if you did something if you're not showing them proof of any type of income that you got. So under this pathway, I did research, and maybe you can do your own, because it is also very good for to look at it up at your own time. You can go to the two councils that I've shared that give the nursing skillment, the assessment, and check. But under what I have, the research I have done, the volunteer does not counter at all. It is such a shame, but it is what it is. Okay. So can I believe, like, if there's no other question, I've exhausted everything at this juncture. I'm about to say thank you so much for coming. I will see you tomorrow, or if there's any other question I can give you guys, maybe there's someone who is typing, I can give you few seconds to see if there's any question that is coming. And as I said, and I think it is very prudent for me to repeat these, please do not be in a hurry to do your skill assessment. If you know under the things that I have mentioned, they might make you get a ban. It is very prudent for you to go under the two skill assessment centers, that is the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council, and the other one, that is the Community Association of Australia, and look at what their skill assessment, look at the requirements, read them in general, because for me, I've given you in simple and in layman language. Read them in general, so that by the point where you want to do your skill assessment, you will know if you really, 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 really are good to go. As I said, this is something that you can work on. You do not need to be in a hurry to do such kind of things. As I said, this visa is closing in 2028. So we have quite a number of years to go. If it is 1 year experience, look for ways you can get something. It is very bad that even when you volunteer under this visa, you'll not be able to go through or to maneuver the skill assessment. So, or rather, it's good for me to say, look for, even if it is a job that is not paying well, at least to give you the skills and to give you the experience of at least 1 year, then you can now be able to do the skill assessment. I believe there is no any other question, because I'm not seeing any question. So I will say, like, we can end the video at this juncture. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate every person who comes in and listens to what I have to share and ask questions, because it really shows that at least I share information that is valuable. Thank you so much, Sipati. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. Have a very good evening or a good night, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Central European Time.